All right, hello, my lovely Year Sevens. I'm Miss Guevara, and we will be analyzing Hunting Snake by Judith Wright. So before we begin, I want you to annotate what are the names of these two items on the poem. All right, so we had a video last lesson that annotated these different components of a poem. Now I want you to have a go. So just pause the video and take about 2 to 3 minutes to do so. All right, so you should have titled this as the title and this as the poet. Okay, so we're trying to get into good practice as to knowing what are these different components of a poem. Next, what I want you to do is to create a techniques key at the top of your poem, so it's easier for you to know where the simile is or where the imagery is in the poem. So just take another 2 to 3 minutes, pause this video, please, and to create a techniques key using different highlighters or textures that you may have. Alrighty, so the next thing that I would like you to do is to copy down these two different sentences about the rhyme schemes in this poem. So the first rhyme scheme that we have is A, B, A, B. So it's also known as an alternate rhyme, and it creates predictability in the poem. Okay. And the next one is A, B, B, A, which is a different rhyme scheme, and it's also known as an enclosed rhyme. All right. So just pause the video and just take about 2 to 3 minutes to write this at the bottom of your books, please. All right, so we should have written down these descriptions at the bottom. And now Miss Guevara will show you where we can see this in the poem. So we can see this in stanza 1, stanza 2, and stanza 3, which is why I put A, B at the side for both. Sorry, for all three. And I will show you. So we have sun warmed in this late season's grace. Under the autumn's gentlest sky. Also, you don't have to highlight this as I'm talking. I'm just showing you where the rhyming is. And then we walked and froze half through a pace. The great black snake went reeling by. Okay. So we can see here grace, the first line. So grace and pace, they rhyme, and we have sky and by. All right. And we can see that as well in the second one. We have trail and we have scale, and then we have grass and then pass. All right. We can see that as well in the third one. But lastly, in this stanza, we have an ABBA scheme where the first line and the fourth line rhyme. Okay. So cold, dark, and splendid, he was gone into the grass that hid his prey. Very good. He betook a deeper breath of day, looked at each other, and went on. Okay. So we have gone and on, which is the first and fourth line, and then we have pray and day, which is the second and third line. Okay. So ABBA is also known as an enclosed rhyme. So it closes up the rhyming scheme, closes up the poem. But ABAB creates predictability, and it makes a poem playful. Okay, it makes a poem playful. So we can rub that out. And what I would like you to do now is for us to remember which stanza has what type of rhyming scheme. If you're able to put ABAB in stanza 1, 2, and 3, and then ABBA in stanza 4, please. So just pause the video, please, and take about 2 to 3 minutes to put these annotations at the side. All right, So after you have done that, we will go through stanza 1 together. All right. So sun warmed in this late season's grace, under the autumn's gentlest sky, we walked and froze, half through a pace. The great black snake went reeling by. All right. Sun warmed. What type? I want you to pause this video after I ask you and pose this question. What technique, what type of imagery, sorry, is sun warmed? Okay, it's imagery, but what type of imagery do you think it is? You can discuss this with the partner next to you. Stop the video and discuss. What do you think? What type of imagery is this? All right, so after your discussion, we should have said visual imagery. Okay, so sun warmed. Okay, sun warmed. If we think about a sunny and a warm day, we can build this image of where they are right now. Okay, so sun warmed. So they're outside, they're out in the heat, they could feel the sun. Okay, so what I would like you to do is highlight sun warmed into whatever color you put it as. And we have to specify, remember, specify what type of imagery. So it's visual imagery. Under the autumn's gentlest sky. And I want you to think about this. Can a sky be literally gentle? Okay. Can a sky be literally gentle? And if not, why would they describe the autumn sky as gentle? What does it let you imagine or create an image in your mind? What does a gentle autumn sky look like to you? And for those who want to have a go at it, what type of technique do you think is in this autumn's gentlest sky? All right, just pause the video, please, and just have a think about it. All right, so after discussion, the technique that we do have is personification. All right, autumn's gentlest sky. Okay, so a sky can't literally be gentle. This is a human quality or a trait that they're given to a sky, which can't be human at all. Okay, but they're using personification. If we use personification, but they're using personification to describe um how the sky is. If you think of an autumn gentle sky, it's probably blue skies, with clouds around, and it's really peaceful and it's really calming, right? So the image um that Wright is trying to build is a very positive and a very peaceful image of nature right now, right? So we can see that in the visual imagery of the sun being warm, and then we have this personification with the sky being gentle, okay? So in the annotation section, what I will do is I do tend to write a lot, so I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. So you can write visual imagery. Visual imagery. So paints a picture of the environment being hot. All right, so that's our visual imagery. And then we have personification, right? So we have personification. And if you are a bit confused as to what personification is, it has it in its name, person. All right. So personification, think about person and having person qualities, all right? Human qualities that a person has. So personification. So a sky cannot be physically gentle. It is, used to describe a peaceful scenery. Okay, so we have that. If you want to pause the video and write these two annotations down, please feel free to do so. But just pause it. Alrighty. So now let's move on. So we walked and froze half through a pace. Okay, so we walked and froze half through a pace. What imagery does that build up? Okay, imagine you and your friend are walking. It's a lovely sunny day. The sky is peaceful, it's gentle, and then you walked and then you froze. Okay, you froze because why? There was a great black snake that was reeling by. All right. So this type of imagery, so it's kinesthetic imagery. Okay, if there's any movement that's going around. So half through a pace. They froze half through a pace. That means that actually pause the video and think about it. What does it mean when they just froze half through a pace? What does it mean? And how does it look like to you? All right. So after discussion, I would love to hear your discussion, but unfortunately I cannot. Um, but yeah, kinesthetic imagery. All right. So these people, we don't know how many because it's we, more than one, just halted at a stop. Okay, they had to stop immediately. All right. So this kinesthetic imagery builds that sense of urgency. Okay, it builds that urgency and that sudden stop of movement. Okay, so we can put that as imagery, kinesthetic imagery. Kinesthetic imagery. All right, kinesthetic imagery. So this is used to describe the sudden stop in movement. Okay. And then in the next, sorry, I'll go back here so you can pause the screen in case you need to write that. Okay. So the next line, we understand why they suddenly stopped in their tracks. Okay. So the great black snake went reeling by. I don't know about you, but if I saw a big black snake when I was walking in the park or just walking, I would definitely be really scared too. All right. But what's really interesting is how Wright described the snake. All right. So the two words that she uses, so this is two techniques in one. All right. We'll focus on the obvious one and then we'll focus on the other one that isn't too obvious. All right. I'll actually let you pause the video to give that one a go, but we'll first go to the first technique that we see. So the great black snake. Okay. So what type of imagery is Wright using? Okay, remember we got the 5 senses. What type of imagery is she using? So she's using visual imagery. All right, so she's using visual imagery to give us an image or picture of how the snake looks like. All right, so I'm going to put here, I'm going to put this at the top. Great black snake. So visual imagery. And what the?